As I started to study garden design, I realised that it would be nice to divide it into rooms. We started off first with a kitchen garden, a potager, and put in a lot of really nice mature hedges to stop the winds. In this corner here was a very large Christmas tree, so this corner of the garden was planted as a shade garden. But after the tree came down, of course, the planting here had a really nice surprise because there was lots of sun came in. And it's quite a contemporary corner here because it has to meet both needs of being a seating area and yet also a practical area for the needs of the greenhouse. I wanted to make sure that I got the right kind of greenhouse, but what was important to me was the aesthetics of the building that I was going to put in prime place in this part of the garden. And I'd already designed this theme, which was based on squares and oblongs, so I definitely wanted a square building. But I also wanted one that would sit nicely in the space, and it was limited space, so I've used every inch of the space right up to the neighbours' boundaries, and also to make sure that it would mature well. The greenhouse and the grown store now is 4 years old, and it's gone off to this rather nice silver colour, which was important to me to make sure that I didn't want anything that was really painted brightly or anything like that. And I didn't want to introduce a metal greenhouse, for example, because we have wooden windows and it's quite a mature house, being late 1890s. So I didn't want anything that looked too modernistic, but something that would sit comfortably in the space. And also it was a little bit reminiscent. It reminded me of the greenhouse that my father had when I was a girl, and that was wooden, and yeah, kind of a bit nostalgia as well there for me. So about 4 years ago we went to the Malvern show, and I was interested in getting a greenhouse and a store because we'd bought some garden furniture, and it was a bit of a pain to keep taking the cushions for the garden furniture from the inside of the house all the way out to the outside all the time. So I thought perhaps it would be good to get a greenhouse and a store to put the cushions in. The greenhouse is used all year round, and it's got power to it, which is great because we've got lighting, so of an evening I can come out here and work in the greenhouse of an evening. But also in the winter, when we're overwintering pots, we can also have a heater in there. So any tender plants, such as the Melianthus major and some of our more tropical plants, we put in here over the winter, and they're kept nice and warm and frost-free. And that's very cheap to run, pennies. It's really, really economical. But of course it comes into its own in the summer. Like now we have tomatoes down one side. I've left staging up this year because I'm growing things like chilies in there. So it's a real joy to be getting things ready at the beginning in spring, getting ahead with things like sweet peas and things like that. Once we've made the decision to buy the grow and store, it came delivered as flat pack, quite big pieces, the sides and the back, and all separate. But the first task really was to lay the concrete base, and Gabriel Ash kindly supplied detailed drawings so that we knew exactly where these pavers wanted to go, because we had to get the line of the building lined up with the pavers to make it sit exactly. And the concrete was to only go in half the piece underneath the store, because obviously with the greenhouse bit I wanted to make sure that the water from the greenhouse would soak away. So with that part it was just backfilled with soil and then gravel on top to match the gravel everywhere else in the garden. It went together really quite well. Myself and my partner and our neighbours, we did it, I think it probably took about 3 weekends to put together. I definitely have no problem in recommending Gabriel Ash to my garden design clients, and also to my friends and family who actually greatly admire it.